Today on Let's Go Farming, we are at Monze College of Agriculture in Monze District. On this episode, we'll be looking at poultry production with Mr. Prince Mokupa, who is the farm manager here. Let's now join Mr. Mokupa as he explains to us the do's and don'ts of poultry farming.
Hello, let's go farming today. My name is Prince Mokupa from Monze College of Agriculture. I'm the farm manager, acting farm manager in specific. Right now we are starting from the animal section just to showcase and teach the people a few things on how we can rear our animals and ways of how we can also avoid some other diseases and bacteria that we can find specifically, like we are starting from on the poultry section. So right now with me here on the doorstep as we are about to enter our chicken pen, so we have a foot bath, which is very much important to ensure that before you go in a poultry or in a chicken pen, you dip your feet. This is actually making you avoid all other bacteria or unwanted diseases that you wouldn't want your birds to be infected with. With me here we have broilers. We know that a broiler is an animal, a bird that actually grows in a short space of time. It's good, it's reared for meat production. It's just in a space of 6 weeks, and actually you have meat to have for consumption. So these we see here, they are actually in their second week stage. So we are feeding them with broiler starter. As you can see, our program on how we feed here, this is, like I said, Monze College of Agriculture, since we are training our students on how to raise these birds even for business ventures for themselves when they actually graduate, because maybe they may not find employment. So this is one venture that one can go into in a short period of time and you're able to make some few profits from it. So with our starter, we actually start from day 1 and we take them up to week 4. And then the week 5 and 6, as we don't do grower, but we actually go into finisher. That is how we use our process here in order to see our birds growing. So the more they eat on starter and consume on starter, that's how they put on more weight. In that way, we are able to attain market weight at a faster pace without having struggles by the time you are reaching week 6. It's easy for the farmer to have his return in a short period of time. I want us to talk about the vaccination program. So broilers, their vaccination program is not that complicated, because once they reach day 8 or 10, between day 8 or 10, you can actually give them gumboro. And then, from day 12 or to day 14, you can give them Newcastle. Again, you do the same repetition on day 18, where you can give them the same gumboro again. And then day 21, you give them Newcastle again. The reason why we are doing it the second time, somebody may ask, why is it that you do it twice? It's because we may have maybe other birds, as we were giving them, since we give them in their drinking water, maybe other birds did not consume the gumboro and the Newcastle. So we know that the second stage, no matter what, you wouldn't miss any other bird out. Yeah, so this is the reason why we do that. So vaccination is one of the most important things that we have to ensure that we are following, because we know that once a virus like Newcastle gets to strike your pen, it actually maybe wipes out completely or 3/4 of your birds. So meaning to a farmer, that's a loss. You and me are in the business of wanting to make a profit, because you are making a living for yourself and the family out there. So you don't want a virus like that to hit your pen. This is why we always want to vaccinate. And then also it's very much important that as you are giving your feed, you ensure that you have the right feed from a right company that you prefer, that you know that once I give my birds the right feed, you know that your growth will not be compromised. Also ensure that clean water is a key. So as you can see, my guys here, they are enjoying the clean water, fresh. So always ensure, the same way you as a human being, you want to consume clean with these animals. If you give them dirty water, mostly the broilers, you definitely see that maybe you start having even mortalities. Yeah, so ensure always that you're having clean water in your pen for a healthy bird. So as you can see, we are also stepping on something. This is grass. So this is what we use for a litter, just for our birds. As they are dropping down their stool, we know that it's not becoming wet, because if the litter is actually wet, it brings in a lot of diseases, bacteria, which you wouldn't want your birds to face. And this is why we start with biosecurity, so it comes to actually end here. If your place is always waterlogged, you are going to have a lot of bacteria and other diseases that may arise that you don't want your birds to face with. So I can take you to the next stage, where we are going to show you on their last stage in the next pen, where you see the broilers, they have reached their market weight, and you see how good and healthy they appear. Welcome back, viewers. So we are on our next stage. Maybe you're just joining us. We were talking about how to raise broilers from day old. So we were just viewing the small chicks that are in the other pen. We talked about water and their vaccines. So now we are actually in the big stage, where it's the last stage, where we can see how our birds have grown. So remember, the food bath is always important and key. So in this pen here, they are still broilers. These are broilers, like we said. It only takes a few weeks to raise them. And in here we have 200 broilers. And then, as you can see, they are fully grown. The first time we were talking about them being small and how to feed them. Remember, we also said here we feed 4 weeks starter. So this is why when you look at these birds, they are even more than 2.5 kg of weight in the space of 6 weeks. So these are in their 6-week stage, and they are 200 in number. So remember, other people will give you different stories. They'll tell you have to use different boosters in order to have your birds reaching this stage. So for us here at Zambia College of Agriculture, we do not give any boosters. We don't give any supplement. The only supplement that we get to give them is fresh water, clean water, and good feed. Good feed. So that is the only booster we give them. So remember, we only give them the vaccines that we talked about, Gumboro, Newcastle. From there, we just give them plain water and nice feed. So these are in their last stage. They are ready for market. We have already even started selling out some to our students out there. They are enjoying our beds, and everybody's enjoying them. So at this stage, maybe you may have a question: do we continue to vaccinate our broilers? No, the answer is no. We do not continue vaccinating. The first vaccines that we gave and the second vaccine that we gave, which is Gumboro, Newcastle, is the only vaccine that we get to do in those first 21 days, like we earlier on explained to you, the viewers. So at this stage where they are, they have actually reached over 2.5. So it's very much important, even as you are feeding them, that you begin to weigh their feed, even as you are giving out to the feed, because we always have a guide, the feeding guide on a daily basis, how much they need to consume. So we always do that on a daily basis. We are weighing the feed that we are giving them, because you do not want to overfeed them, because you'll be running out on losses. Remember, this is a business venture that you are in, and the good part with this business is that even if it rains or it doesn't rain, you always get something at the end of the day, because it's always in an enclosed space where the rain will not come in. So when you look at the litter here, it's different from the litter that we saw in the other pen there. So this one, it starts with sawdust, but it gets to appear the way it is because it has stayed for some time. It actually changes color on, as you can see, it's very dark, rich. So you can actually use the same manure and take it to your garden, so that even your vegetables, they'll be sweet and nice, tasty vegetables. So this is what we are doing here at Zambia College of Agriculture. So as you can see, very big. I decided to get this one. Yeah, I believe in weight it should be even over, this is over 2.5 kg in weight. Like I said, it's just in a space of 6 weeks, and you have your returns from the same. So we can even get a scale just to see to it that we have passed 2.5 kgs. You can allow us to put you in the scale so that we can weigh you, and the viewers can see to it that we have actually attained the expected weight. But at least we can see this is almost to 3 kgs of weight. So let me just remove it so that it doesn't suffocate. Yeah, there we go. 1 kg usually goes even up to 3 kgs once you keep it over 6 weeks. You definitely have over 3 kgs. But the moment you stick to the same 6 weeks, you always get to have the average of 2.5, 2.6 kgs. So at this point in time, we would love to take you to the next stage. But before we leave, allow me to talk about the chicken that we just saw that is disabled. Many would want to throw them away, but you need such kind of birds in your pen because you are in business and you wouldn't want to have losses. So you can use the same one for home consumption instead of you getting the bird that is already well grown and feed it at home. But you use those ones that are in such conditions so that you are the ones that you get to use for home consumption, and you are maximizing on profits. So allow me to take you to the next stage, which is actually the layers, but we'll start with the pullets. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mokupa also took us to where they keep layers. Let's stay tuned and learn more from him.
Welcome back, our viewers, once again under poultry production. This time we are not talking about broilers, but we are talking about layers. So to begin with layers, we get to see from day-old chicks, which we call pullets. So let me take you in so that we get to see the type of pullets that we have and how many they are, how we raise them, and how to raise them. Please follow me. With me here, we have the pullets, which are also just normal chickens. These are also birds in a different type, not broilers, but these ones are raised for egg production. And then the good part with them is in as much as you raise them for egg production, at the end of their egg production, you still sell them for meat also, for meat consumption. So meaning as you have made your money out of the eggs, you also come and make money out of their meat at the end of the day, because they are very much tasty. They just taste like an ordinary village chicken. So let me take you through in our poultry pen here. So these pullets here that we have are actually 1,300 in total. And then the raising of them is not different from the broilers. It's just that their difference is in the stage of growth. So these ones, the broilers will take you 6 weeks, but for the pullets, for them to start giving you eggs, they'll take you up to 18 weeks. So the ones that we have here, they are actually in their 9th week. So the very way we start with broilers, feeding them with broiler starter, is the same way we are going to feed these ones with broiler starter also, or also give them. Then from there we go to grower, and then we feed them with developer, and then from there we go to layers mash, and then we start picking our eggs in week 18. So like I said, the raising is just the same like broilers. As you can see, the litter is still the same. It's still grass. Here we prefer to use grass because it's locally sourced. One, because you're in business, you do not want to incur a lot of expenses, so you go for the locally available materials, which in our case here is actually the grass itself. So once you just go around our farm, you get to collect this grass and then put it down as your litter. As you can see, our litter here with the pullets, this is the same litter that you start with, and then you just keep turning it from time to time. You keep turning it from time to time. There will be dropping here. There are the droppings. And then, but every day you just keep turning them in order to keep them fresh. You keep them dry so that they are not wet, because once they are wet, you're trying to avoid diseases, you're trying to avoid bacteria, just the same way we talked about broilers. So the only maybe difference that comes in, like I said, is just the space at which you raise them. So maybe other people would have a question. Layers or pullets themselves, are they maybe people who question says, where do they come from? These are just normal birds which manufacturers out there, different companies who come up with these birds with just the normal egg itself. So we have different hatcheries out there in Zambia. This is where we get to buy from them, so that we are able to raise them for meat, for egg production rather. So this is how our pen looks like. Like I said, water is very much important. So ensure, like from day one, you're giving them good water, good feed. And then these ones, on the broilers, like I said, the broilers, you get to weigh their feed every day. It changes, it keeps increasing. But for these ones, their feed increases on a weekly basis. So why are you not overfeeding the pullets? It's because you want to ensure that you monitor their growth, because their growth is determined on how you want to get back your eggs. If you overfeed them, you realize that you are going to have problems when it comes to the time of picking up eggs. So also let me talk about lighting. Lighting is one of the most important aspects when it comes to raising layers. So with the broilers, you realize that our lighting system, we leave it throughout the time of 24 hours of the day. So because you are raising them for meat production in a small space, in a short period of time. But for these ones, we are trying to raise them as normal as the village chicken bird that you have out there. The same way the village chicken will give you eggs after 18 weeks is the same way even these ones will be raised normal. Just that these ones, we confine them in this place so that we get to monitor their growth, we get to control their temperature, things like that. In here we have got different things that you're able to see, like this stick that is hanging out there. As you can see, there is what we call, these are patches. So these ones, we call them patches. It helps the bird to exercise, to free itself. And then also allow me to make mention that as you are raising pullets or these about to be layers, there are different methods that you can raise them with. You can raise them actually on the ground, which we call free range, or you can raise them in cages. So these ones, as an institution, we decided to raise them just on free range so that they are able to exercise, they are able to feel the free life of a normal bird. In that way, we are able to monitor how each bird is doing and the like. We ensure that there is always someone to monitor the birds on a daily basis, to see to it they are always healthy and they are fed well. And then also ensure that the vaccination program, like I said, the hatcheries get to provide all those guidelines, so they will provide you with all vaccination schedules. So I was earlier on asked, is a broiler vaccinated even when it reaches a full growth? I said no, but for these ones, there's always a certain stage, even when they have reached a certain growth, that others may think it has grown, but we can still vaccinate it. Even when they have grown, there's always that schedule that we keep on vaccinating them against Newcastle, because these ones get to stay for a long period of time. As they are giving you eggs, they will go as far as over 90 weeks just giving you eggs. Once they start from week 18, it can take you all the way to 90 weeks just giving you eggs. The question could be, how many eggs does a chicken produce? Others will tell you 2, others will tell you 3. It only gives out 1 egg per day. So let's not be cheated by thinking maybe it's giving out a lot because of the feed and the like. No, research the normal feeds which companies have produced, and also following the guidelines. This is what we had for you, and pullet production, or layers in specific. Allow me to take you to the next stage where you get to see them in their full stage. We are now at the last stage. We are just from showing you the pullets. Now we are taking you where to see the layers themselves and their fully grown stage. So, we even have eggs down there. So as you can see, these are birds. They have now started laying. So these ones are in their second week of laying, and we just started picking eggs. So let me take you in so that you're able to see a few things that we are able to show you. So in here we have layers. These are now called layers. They are no longer called pullets because they have now started dropping their eggs. As you can see, there are eggs all over the ground, of which when you notice this, so here in this pen that we are in, this is a student project. So it's the students that are taking care of these pens. We have a number of these pens where our students are divided in groups. So usually it's very much important that once these pullets, before they are actually layers, we need to introduce those nest boxes so that the pullets are able to learn where to lay their eggs, unlike the way we are getting to see to these birds here, because this is when they are learning to lay eggs, so they are getting to lay them anywhere. So one thing that we can also tell about layers is that you see these nest boxes, you realize that the majority of the eggs are actually in the nest boxes. So this tells you that a chicken is actually one bird that loves its privacy. So every time it wants to lay eggs, it wants to go in a place where it feels like it's in a private kind of an environment without too much exposure. So this is why it usually goes in the nest boxes. But for those ones, like some of these that we are picking, they're just still learning the art on how to use nest boxes. So it's very much important as a farmer that you see to it that every stage in layer production, you are following it diligently to avoid such kind of things like this, because these are some of the dangers that once you walk in, maybe you didn't see it, you are expecting the eggs to be maybe in the nest boxes, you may step on it. Quite okay, yeah, we know that layers, you may find it everywhere else, so it's to be very careful even as you have entered into a pen, just to ensure that you walk around, see to it where can I find eggs and the like. So things like that, it's very much important to reduce on those that are damaged. So this is what we are doing at the moment. The same litter that we just demonstrated that side is what we also have here. We are using grass for litter, and we can also use any other method of putting litter. You can either buy sawdust, which we later on said because you as a farmer, you want to run away from certain costs, so you would want to source for things that are locally available if you are on the farm. So remember what we talked about: fresh water, nice feed, clean water always will give you nice and fresh eggs. So see you next time when you come back.
That's all we had for you on this edition. Hope the information gotten here has been helpful to you, our viewers. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, my name is Mutintanyanga.